Hey everyone, welcome back to our coverage of Fox's new reality show, The Snake, here on RHAP. I'm, of course, Jenny, joined by my co host, the wonderful Chappell. How are you?
Jenny, I am great. I am great. I look. I've been looking online to see if people are talking about the snake, and I just don't know if it's getting its just due. Because I was very excited to watch this week's episode. I think it was great, and I also think this show might be wasting some of our characters. The exit interviews that we've been doing have been so wonderful. We've been really enjoying the conversation with these people, but we haven't seen them on screen like we should.
I know. No, I have all of the same concerns that you do, Chappelle. I've been, yes, I'm biased because I'm covering it and get to talk about it weekly with you, and that's extra fun. But I actually think that, like, for a new show with a fresh cast of new people we've never seen on TV before, that this is fun, and I feel like there's not enough people talking about it. So this is my call out to those who are listening and following the show. Hashtag join the conversation. I want to hear what people are thinking and feeling about this, and like tell a friend, because I just feel like this show needs a little bit more hype. And you're absolutely right, cast has been giving, and not even on just on screen. Like you said, we've had so far two really fun exit interviews, of course, with our first boot, Kaylee, and then last week with Mina, who was really great, where I just felt like these are people that I could easily see on reality TV again, and they were gone too soon. And we still have so many characters left in this show. So I really hope that we're gonna start gaining some momentum here, because I would say the strategy's picking up after episode 3
Yes.
here.
Yeah. So yeah, we got a lot to talk about
I
because
know.
it's like there are a few people who are impressing me strategically, and there are a few people that I want to shake like an etch a sketch. It's like,
Which is
hey, get it
perfect.
together,
I
right?
want
Which is
that.
perfect, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's playing optimally. This might be boring, but because there are
Mhm.
people out here playing like dum dums, we get to come on here and laugh and talk about it. And we got some dum dums to talk about.
Oh,
One
yeah.
particular in a white collar. So
Yes. What a slow car crash we witnessed here tonight. Obviously, big twist of the night is we're going to have a double snake, a two-headed snake, and with that a double elimination. So big episode. We got to see a lot more strategizing here, and ultimately, I thought it was kind of a fun result. Like you said, seeing, people really think that they're playing a good game and have it all fall apart is always wonderful. And I think that we have also some really good game players in the mix here, and I love them. I love having a bit of both. And the other thing that I love about tonight's result, which I should say, two of the people we lost, I wasn't happy to lose. Like, I think that they were two people that really could have been fun, but we're keeping in factions that are really starting to war against each other, which is, you know, it's great. If we were going to lose some like middling floater types, that's okay here. Um but yeah, where should we start? Should we start with how this starts off here? Obviously, we just left our last saving ceremony or whatever, where the
mhm.
big shock was Derek saving Pastor Jacob, and McLean, being very close to being eliminated and getting really shaken by that. And so this is going to be a little bit of the fallout of that whole situation.
Yeah, McLean's been down and out a couple times. And so, we see her really scrambling to get her footing. She's upset because everybody in the house lied to her. She really thought she was safe, but at least she has Jack, who will be there for her. Because this showmance looks like it's coming and it's going to be good for her moving forward. But yeah, she's been in the bottom twice. And she's very confused about why Derek went rogue and threw off everything. Derek, who's a much more active player than McLean is, but she's going to have to try to bounce back. Now, it's funny to me that McLean's been at the bottom twice. But she's still not the pariah of the house. That's still the pastor who's done nothing to anybody.
Yeah, so we kind of see Jacob, Pastor Jacob doing a little bit of, I don't know if you would call it an apology tour, but maybe just like an image rehab tour
Mm-hmm.
here early in the episode, where he's realizing like he his ass got saved. He was in some deep water, and essentially, in a lot of situations was going to be eliminated in this last episode, and get saved. And so he's kind of going around and asking people, like what happened, what made you not trust me, like what was it, because he knows parts of it was to do with the challenge where he kind of called out Jack, but he's not really sure what's going on here. And we get a little conversation. He's talking to like some of our people that I would say are like our floaters, and not like in a derogatory sense, like, our Frank and Alyssa, who are kind of like friendly with everyone. And he's talking to them, and I thought this was an interesting conversation, because Frank says straight up, he's like, I like you, but I do not trust you. I'm just letting you know. I think that you're really cool, but I just don't know, there's something that about you that I don't trust. I think it's just because you're super competitive. um and then Alyssa chimes in and says, I judged you, and I thought that maybe you would target me for being an OnlyFans model, just because you are a man of God and you might have some preconceived notions about me. And then we got a little flashback. And Jacob pipes up and says, actually, on the first night at the dinner, Kaylee, the police officer, was making disparaging comments about you, and I publicly, verbally defended you. And they showed the receipts. Do you
Yes.
remember this from that first episode? I didn't remember this.
No. This was definitely something that they added into
Unseen
the show.
footage?
Yeah,
Okay.
unseen footage. And because we didn't know it was a thing, right? Like we've never
Yeah.
heard Alyssa mention Pastor Jacob at all. Like we've never,
Yeah.
like she's never really said anything about him. So we never had any reason to believe that there was bad blood there. But man, am I happy that they showed this,
Yes.
because first of all, great move on him to be like, no, actually, I was defending you. First of all, great on him to be defending her anyway. Like that,
Mhm.
her occupation does
Without
not
that
define
needing to
her.
be
Right.
like,
It
that
wasn't
didn't
game
benefit
related.
him at that point. He didn't even
Mhm.
know her.
Exactly. And then it really did touch her. Like she's crying while he's telling her that, because I think she really did misjudge him. I think here the struggle that Pastor Jacob is having is that, yeah, you come in with this collar on, you come in saying I'm a man of the cloth, and I think for gamers, you want to believe that everybody is a gamer.
Mhm.
You and I came in, we talked about the first episode. Like, is he going to be cutthroat? Right? We see Brian talking about it. We see, like, you and I were like, we would love to see the pastor with the knife behind his back, right? Like, because that's kind of iconic, right? You would
Oh,
think,
yeah.
okay, if you signed up for a show called The Snake, you can't possibly be coming in here thinking I'm going to play with honor and integrity. So I think they all project that he's got to be way worse than he
Right.
actually is. Even for Frank to tell him, I didn't trust you because I think you're a fierce competitor. Based on what? Based on what? We've seen him do one challenge.
Mhm.
And in that one challenge, all he did was stand up for himself and say, somebody spit in my bucket, But fierce competitor, I don't know if he's given that like vibe to anybody. I think they've made up this narrative in their heads, and instead of like being able to say, okay, F it, we were wrong, let me throw all of that away and build a new strategy, it's easier to just be like, hey, he's at the bottom and it's not me. So, I'll tell him whatever he needs to hear, but I'm not sticking my neck out on the line for somebody like that. So I don't know if they actually believe that this man is cutthroat, but if you watch this episode, you should know that when it comes to the competitors in the house, as of episode 3, he's not someone you should be extremely worried about.
No. He wants to be strategic. He wants to make moves, but he's also thank you for popping his face back up on the screen.
Yes.
um that's
Look
our
at him.
that's our
He
pastor.
looks he looks so strategic. It's the squint in his eyes. Like he looks
Yes.
like I'm coming for you. But he's really not.
He's
He's praying for you, and he's
no.
telling you all of his plans, and he's being very honest. And annoying the hell out of me. Like, Pastor, step it up.
That's the thing is like, he's gonna find himself, basically going from almost being eliminated to a position of power
Hmm.
in this episode. And wow, you hate to see it get squandered. And we should go beat by beat in some of the mistakes that get made here. I
Hmm.
don't want to dogpile on Pastor Jacob too much, but we got to talk about everything that happens here, because what an opportunity he's given here, especially because we see this like pre-challenge stuff where he's like already starting to make some corrections to some relationships, right? In
Hmm.
these conversations that he's having mostly with like Frank and Alyssa, and I believe Brian was also there. But let's hop to the challenge, shall we?
Yeah.
And find out how we get to this situation here. So, uh, time for a new snake. Jim Jeffries, our guy, he's back, and he's gonna let us know that they're gonna be competing in pairs, and they will win in pairs, and that we will have a double-headed snake. Uh, so there will be whatever pair wins, they will be the snake together this week. Um, that's the beginning of the twist for this week.
Yeah, when they said it at first, I was like, "What does that mean? What do you mean by that double-headed snake?"
Yeah.
Right? But yeah, it's going to be two of them. There are going to be two people safe, and because of that, there will be two people who will be going home. So we have our first double elimination, 3 episodes in. Most shows would wait a lot longer for a double, but the
Mhm.
snake jumping right into it. I mean, there's a lot of contestants. The show seems pretty straightforward. So I really enjoyed this. I think this is probably the best thing the show could do at this point, because it
Yes.
really could get to the point where it's just like one person picking the same person over and over and over and over and over again, and you just kind of like trying to like win a challenge to put yourself at the top of that pecking order. By making it a double-headed snake, you have to come to an agreement essentially about who is chosen in which order. And I really don't know what happens if you can't. And so I really would love to explore what it looks like if the double-headed snake is like, I want this person next. Well, I want this person next.
Yeah.
Well, who gets to decide? I guess we'll find out if that ever comes up.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like, again, we're always going to be making the Big Brother comparisons here, but like, you know, if you want to compare this to like a double eviction or whatever, usually like the double evictions are taking place like a lot later in the season, when people are really waiting to use that as like a big move. I feel like this version and this structure of a game, having a double elimination this early is like perfect. Like you said, we want to keep the saving ceremony a little fresh. We don't want it to be so predictable and that you're just watching like the people on the bottom that don't have a lot of relationships like slowly just get closer to the bottom and then
Hmm.
ultimately get eliminated. And I really think that this episode ends up like perfectly showing like why this was great timing, because we lose two people here ultimately, and it could have been a couple other people in similar spots that have some relationships, but not enough, and aren't really actively playing the game hard at this point. And I think that that's all you can ask for, if you're trying to make this exciting, where it's like, hey, let's kind of get rid of some of the people that people aren't willing to put their necks out for here. And that doesn't mean that they're the worst game players. It's just that like they're kind of like laying so low that people are not willing to like jump in front of a train for them. And
Hmm.
so I think that that's a great spot. And also, like you said, with having the double-headed snake, we get to see the process of what happens if two people from, with different you know different priorities
Hmm.
need to come to a decision here. And we don't ultimately see like what happens if there's a disagreement. I imagine there is some sort of punishment. um I don't know. We don't get to see what that will be, but we're gonna get randomized pairs here. And the challenge is they're laying in boxes. They look kind of
Mhm.
coffin-esque. And it's a pair puzzle where one person has the key, the other person is going to uh have to put the puzzle together based on the other person's verbal instructions. Wow, sounds great. That's totally easy. No, no, no. We are dumping thousands of cockroaches on their heads.
Jenny, can I say I didn't like this?
Okay.
Um,
Snake guy, not a cockroach guy.
no, I have no issue with cockroaches at all. I don't think that I would have any problem with this challenge, but I thought this was the snake. We need to be incorporating more snakes into these challenges. I think
Mm,
there's not enough snake puns. I don't think there's not enough snake
okay.
imagery. In the goat, Jenny, there were goats everywhere. We had goat challenges. We had goat statues.
Yes.
You had
That
to
was
reach.
branding.
You had to pray into a goat. Remember, in order
Yep.
to cast your vote.
You were
Um,
putting the vote into the goat's mouth
right.
and then get the votes out of the
Out
goat's
of the goat's
butt.
ass.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. There, where's the snake?
Where are the
It's like
snakes? Yeah.
you're supposed to dump snakes on these people. Put the big ass snake in the pit with them, and then make them
Mhm.
figure it out. While the snake is like, kind of like doing snake stuff. I felt like the cockroach is like. Don't get me wrong. There are
It
certain
was
people that like cockroaches are gonna. That's gonna be enough, right? I know the people generally don't like the cockroaches. That's fine. I don't love cockroaches either. But dear
mhm.
God, it's called the snake. I just lean into it. I need more of that.
Okay, what about if there was, like, a single snake in the little box that their head was in, and it looked like
Mm-hmm.
they were, like, being birthed out of, like, fabric because their heads are,
Uh-huh.
like, popping out of, like, this little, like they're crowning,
Mhm.
um what but I understand because, like, the amount of cockroaches and, like, the disgusting nature of the fact that, like, they're in your hair, they could get in your mouth, super gross. So how about if we have one snake in there, but then also still cockroaches? Like, would that satisfy you?
I wonder how the snake would react to the cockroaches, though. Like, is
Would
the
it
snake
eat
going
the
to be
cockroaches?
right? Is it going to be like eating the cockroaches? Is it like the snake is like going to be like pretty anti cockroach? So it's like, hell no, and he starts like freaking out. So I don't.
Mm,
I understand why they did the
it's
cockroaches, but
dangerous.
I definitely felt like this was a missed opportunity to lean back into the snake trope. But overall, you know, I don't like. I don't want to do the challenge, but I
Yeah.
didn't like hate it. I just
I
didn't
will
like.
say, like, the 3 challenges we've had so far, and I not that I think that I am, like, a tough girl, I'm not. I'm a little baby bitch, as I've said many times on podcasts, but, wouldn't wanna do any of these, like,
Mhm.
I at least with, like, Survivor and Big Brother and stuff like that, like, I look at challenges and I'm like, "I might not be very good at this, but I would do that. I would be able
Yeah.
to make myself do that." I truly think that I would really struggle with all 3 challenges so far. But you're right, like, it's like what Jim Jeffrey said in the premiere. He said, like, "Listen, the show is called The Snake. You didn't think there was gonna be snakes?" To which now people are expecting more snakes, and we haven't seen the snakes since.
No, I just felt
It's just
like this was a
cockroaches.
missed opportunity. But
Yeah.
you know what? This challenge still. I mean, the cockroaches did what they needed to do, right? We
Oh,
saw
yeah.
some like incredible freakouts, and I think that's what they were going for. And we got them. People were screaming. People quit instantly. The pairs, I think that's a good twist. Like this is the time to pair them up, right? Because the
Yeah.
puzzle only works if you are both able to suffer through the cockroaches. And we've seen this on other challenges. Sometimes that's all it takes to really separate like the people who really wanted the baddest or the people who are like, I'm able to lose this challenge. Like I don't mind tapping out because the people who needed it the worst or the most were the ones who won. And that's what we love to see.
Yes. I mean, some of these pairings were not that, you know, compelling. It's good that they did it with this many people though, because you're increasing the likeliness of like an interesting pairing of two people that might not be working together. And we definitely get a little bit of it at, we see Jack and Devonte and we're like, oh, okay, well, if these two win, it's gonna like pretty
Mm-hmm.
predictable what we're doing here. And then we have like a couple of other interesting combinations, but ultimately we get this pairing of McLean and Jacob, two people who were really in bad situations last week. And McLean is one of these people who is terrified of bugs. Like pre-challenge, just hearing what she had to say, I was worried for her because I found it very
Mm-hmm.
relatable where I'd be like, yep, this is not something I would want to do. And I don't know that I would be able to mind over matter it. And most of this was a close race between McLean and Jacob, and then Jack and Devonte, and then I believe that Alyssa and Derek were also kind of in this a little bit.
They were there too.
Yeah,
Like Alyssa, I think the show was
Alyssa
really just
popped out a
highlighting.
bit.
That's what it was. The show was really highlighting that, like, Alyssa is underestimated. We learned that she went to
Mm-hmm.
college for chemical engineering, so it's like it's almost
Yes,
like
queen.
she's an OnlyFans model, but she can do more than that. It's like, yeah, duh, of
I
course she
love
can,
that.
you know. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was very excited to see that the show was giving her a little love, because like some people, there's probably someone sitting at home going like, she's not gonna make it or she's not good because
Mm-hmm.
she does OnlyFans, and so now we can see that those people like I feel like the show is trying to like humanize OnlyFans models or whatever, even though
So I'm
like they don't
saying,
need
is
to be
it
humanized.
sponsored?
Right, exactly. Like OnlyFans is like, no, 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 we could do it all. And like I think she's their
This is
spokesperson right now.
Yeah, this is like PR for OnlyFans, to which I say go for it. I mean,
Right.
imagine like, wow, people are not one dimensional. Like we
Right.
aren't just reduced to like whatever we do to make a living at this point, which is so funny though, because like in this show we are always referring to people as
Because they're
their
reduced.
the role, the cheerleader and the and the
Yes.
pastor. Like,
Yeah.
so it's I don't it was very funny. But yeah, Derek and Alyssa were in it a little bit. They were impressive, but it truly ends up being kind of neck and neck between Jack and Devonte and McLean and Jacob, which made it very, very interesting. Um
Oh, oh yeah, for sure.
yeah.
And
So
our
ultimately,
winners.
McLean and Jacob are gonna pull this out. And it seemed like a photo finish. I don't know if that was just the edit, but
Mm.
in like the final seconds, they take it over Jack and Devonte. And this is like pretty much worst case scenario for the Bro Alliance when they hear it. You can even hear Devonte say like it's Mac and Jacob, man. Like announcing like we lost to them. This isn't good.
No. My first instinct though was that like, okay, this is not awful. Jacob is clearly not working with the bros, but Mac is there, and she has
Mm-hmm.
the showman's alliance essentially with Jack, and so I'm thinking, okay, this isn't awful because she still is going to advocate for them. Like if she has any say so, Jack is going to get chosen, which will in turn make Devontae get chosen, which will lead to Brett getting chosen. So that is going to happen. Like I had already assumed that that was going to happen. I was just like, but what is Jacob? Oh, well, what is Pastor Jacob going to do? Right? Like, what does
Yeah.
he do when it's his
What does
turn
he
to make a
want?
decision? Because I knew the moment she got to say a name, it was Jack and the Bros.
Yeah,
And he should have
especially
known that
because
too, Jenny.
he should have. And it's quite honestly, she didn't even hide that from him. But
No.
um, you know, especially because we don't know how much of McLean's previous position in the game Jacob is in tune about, but like she was working with other people and she felt betrayed by them. So she's going to feel even more indebted to Jack, who ultimately does save her, even though she ends up in the bottom two, which she wasn't really expected to be. He is responsible for making sure she wasn't the one that goes home. Um, you got to think a little bit about like who does she want to prioritize in this game? And Jacob, I don't know. He I guess maybe he was really just thinking that she had no one and that like he's just not seeing the relationship, cuz to be fair, it's not really a showmance with Jack.
No, it's
Like
not a showmance. It's
we
not.
haven't
Not yet.
even heard Jack say any, like, we've heard McLean be like, "I've got a little crush on him, those
Mm-hmm.
blue eyes." We've seen that there's, like, a little bit of an emotional attachment on her side. We've seen that Jack likes her, like, wants to work with her, knows that that's a good relationship for him, but I feel like I haven't really heard him say, like, "I've got a crush on her," or, "This is a showmance," type thing, and their conversations are not really any different than other strategic conversations between, like, people that are working closely together. So I again, just trying to, like, play devil's advocate with the
For our
pastor
pastor,
here.
for
I
our
know,
pastor.
wild of me to do that, I know. But maybe he just really did not know how deep the Mac on Jack is situation might be. I don't know.
Okay. I hear you, but I don't think that's where his mistake is made.
I
Because
don't
I
either.
agree.
I'm just
Yeah,
trying to, like,
like
reason it out.
even if he thought Mac hated Jack, what he's about to do is crazy.
It
But
is.
to your point about the showman's not really being a showman, even Katherine says she thinks Jack is just manipulating her. Like I
Yeah.
think she's manipulating Mac because she's not a strong player, and so Mac, of course, will go to Jack and say, "You're my number one. I got to
Mhm.
make sure I don't lose you." And the conversation she had with the pastor, he basically just out front told her, "My targets are Brett and Devontae," and she says her target is Derek. So now that she goes to Jack and says, like, "Hey, I'm going to be making sure you get picked," we know that if Pastor Jacob allows that to happen, Devontae and Brett will both be safe. Like we know that for a fact. I think everyone knows that, but except for our pastor, who somehow does not know that. I just don't know how he's the only person in the house who missed it.
Yeah, I don't know if he just, like, he finally got some power and he really overestimated, like, his position here and what how desperate people might be to, like, make a pact. This show and the freaking word
We love
pact.
pact.
Okay.
No, it's a new. We don't have alliances, Jenny.
That's
We
what
have
I'm saying is, like,
pacts.
is there some sort of like, trademarking on the word alliance that they're not allowed to mention it on, like, the show?
Mm-mm.
Because what is it in that this show will only call things pacts to the point where it's like the most like uttered word in an episode, and I have not ever heard them use the word alliance. Did
I think that's
CBS trademark alliance for shows? Like, I want to know.
I just think that it's easier to say, I told this person this round I would save them because they saved me last time, right? So it's kind of like, we got a pact. If you did that for me, I did that for you. We are not locked in forever because I
Right.
don't want you to think that you need to break us up.
Okay.
Like there's a world where I won't save them. There is a world. It's just not this round. And I
So
think
pact
that
is like a lesser than an alliance.
I feel like if you say alliance, that means like we're in it to win it. Like it's
Okay.
us against the world. Whereas they're like, no, we just have a pact. The person who is the head of the snake is the head of the snake this time. Next week, that person will change. Thus, our voting strategy might change as well. Like our picking strategy might change. So yeah, I think it's very easy to be like, no, I just gave that person my word this time. We have
Okay.
a pact because the people who get cut ultimately do not have pacts. They are in alliances. And those people really should have had a pact with somebody that they wouldn't go back on. But even having a pact does not mean that it's
Yes.
it's ironclad because
Not even for one round, we've learned.
not even for a man of the cloth. In my notes, I have, we see them getting dressed, and Pastor Jacob is putting on that collar. And all I put in my notes is take off that damn collar because why are you reminding people that you're a pastor? Like, you need to be shedding that skin like a snake and saying, like, no, I am not a pastor here. Stop looking at me to be the person who is like like the pillar of morality in
Yeah.
this house that I will never tell. Like, stop it, because I think people are getting the wrong idea. You're here to play a game.
Okay. So very, very fair criticism, and I agree. However, my theory is that for the saving ceremonies, they have to dress in their like character
Okay, I
because
hear you, but look,
because did
McLean,
you see McLean was wearing the
yeah,
same cheerleader outfit?
but is it because they're the snake? Because everyone else is in street clothes, Jenny. Everyone else,
Um, well, I guess Cody's just always wearing his
he
cowboy hat. Well,
always
I guess
wears that hat.
the other thing is that like the most of the other people, even
They don't have
their
cartoon
other
jobs.
outfit, like even their character's outfit was kind of street clothes. Cause like I was looking,
Yeah.
cause I was thinking about it too, cause I was looking at everyone else and I'm like, okay, well, how does a poker player dress? Like, I mean,
Mhm.
and I was like looking at what Katherine was wearing. I'm like, okay, she's not wearing like the same red dress that she was wearing the night she came in. We all remember the red dress. But she was wearing like something that I would say like tech manager's office outfit. You know what I mean? Like she had
Yeah,
like some
she's
wide
not
leg
like,
slacks on and a nice like top.
yeah, she's not in a t-shirt. But Jenny,
Yeah.
at this point, that's not fair. You know, like
It
the police
isn't. I
officer's
agree.
gone, the bounty hunter's gone with her handcuff earrings. That we found out she actually chose on her own. Like we
Hell
thought
yeah.
production made her do it, and instead, no, that was her. The cowboy's always gonna wear the cowboy hat.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's just
so
yeah.
it's kind of like we lost the people with the most like uh the jobs that stand out the most, right? Like if we had
Yeah.
a football
Where's
player,
Derek's badge?
right? Like if we had a football player, would he be standing there with his pads on?
Well, this is one of my complaints is that why wasn't Brett wearing boxing gloves or like little silk
Exactly.
shorts from the jump?
Yeah, it's not
He got
fair.
off easy.
I
He just
just
got to
don't
be
think it's
hot.
fair.
Like
Yeah, the pastor, like, look, the pastor could be hot. What if the pastor wanted to wear like, like a button, like a shirt opened
yeah.
up or whatever? But instead, he's like, look at me. I'm a man of the cloth. That's
Yeah.
not right. I was like, take that down. And and
Yeah.
again, this was
'Cause
already
you
me
want him
getting,
so bad.
I wanted to play. I wanted to
Yeah.
play,
Yeah.
do well in the game. And I just feel like this has got to be a hindrance.
Is God holding him back?
I don't want him to blame God. I think he was just being
No, I'm not
dumb.
saying he should blame God, but do you think that he's feeling held back by, like, a commitment that he's not ready to, like, make, you know? Or
Take that
break, I
collar off.
guess.
Take that
Take it
collar off.
off.
I
We'll
feel like if you
start
take it off,
small here,
it'll,
Jacob.
yeah.
Take the collar off.
Take the collar off, and then I think you can slowly start to like ease away from whatever pact you have with God about this game. Like, just
Mhm.
first things first, stop letting people look at you as a pastor. I don't think you should
Yeah.
be. I think because
Well,
they've
Jim
already
Jeffries
taken
won't
it.
let you forget.
But they've already
He
taken
will
it
call you
so
that.
negatively, Like, I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, people didn't look at it and say, "Oh, thank God, a pastor's here. I want to work with them because I know they're going to be honest." Except
Yeah.
for maybe Mina. Mina was like, "No, I need God on my side." Everyone looked at him and said, "Pastor, there must be something more. Maybe
Yeah.
he's got to be like that's a facade." I was like, "No, he's just a pastor. He's a pastor. He's bad. He's bad at the game." Yeah, take
He's
that
not
collar, take it off
bad. He's not a bad person. He's just bad at the game.
at the
He's bad at
game. At the
strategy.
game. Get it together, Jacob.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. He might be forced to wear the collar, but I agree, Chappelle. We need Pastor Jacob to go from white collar to no collar.
Just
I don't know what that means for him.
right. Does he break
Maybe he needs to
bad
go
after
blue
this?
collar.
Yeah, but does he like break, like, we haven't got to it yet, but he is going to get left out, like left out to dry here.
Yeah.
I want him to break bad, like
Mhm.
now that you've established that you are a bad game player who is very like loyal and honest, go the other
Yeah.
direction now. Now that you kind of like got the cover of like, oh, Pastor Jacob would never. I mean, did you see what happened when he was the head of the snake? He could never pull it. No, now you go full,
This
just
might
evil pastor.
this might be the turning point though, because the thing is like after last episode, he was in hot water, but some of it was his own doing in that like maybe he should have just like said nothing and not drawn all this attention to himself with the challenge, just let Jack have it, not really, say anything. And some of it was not stuff outside of his control, but he didn't really do anything. And people were just kind of feeling some type of way about him. This is the first time that something has been truly done against him. People have now broken their word to him, because even last episode, his own like closest ally, Derek, was straight up being like, yo, man, I don't even know if I can save you if I'm given the opportunity. Like, no one was lying to Pastor Jacob last episode, but this man was making pacts and they were broken in front of his eyes. So we might get what you're hoping for here, Chappell. This might be the wake-up call for Pastor Jacob to say, no more Mr. Nice Pastor.
It's his fault. He did this to himself. So let's talk about this pact that he proposes.
Oh, boy.
So Jack goes to talk to Jacob. And Jacob says, hey, what if we just formed a pact? He says, look, between me and you, I got to get one of your alliance. One of the bros got to go. And since I'm pushing it at you, it's either going to be Devontae or Brett. But I think we can work together despite that. Despite the fact that I'm coming for your allies this round, I think we could still work together. So what I'm proposing is that, let's say I pick Amanda. Amanda picks Jack, because I've made that deal with McLean that we're going to make sure Jack gets chosen. Jack will pick Devontae, and then Devontae will not pick his ally because
New pact
New pact just dropped, and he won't pick his ally. He will then pick my ally and leave his ally out to dry for no other reason except for I just really want him to do that.
This was so crazy too, because not only does he, propose to Jack that he be in on a plan that will result in the targeting and hopeful elimination of one of his two closest allies, but Jacob also presents this in a way where he says, listen, I don't really have, that much going on. Mac and I aren't really on the same page yet. And Derek and Amanda are all I have. And so he wants a new pact with him. He says, Derek and Amanda are all I have. I have two people here. Oh, you also have two people, Devontae and Brett? Okay, well, I want one of your two people gone. He's not even saying, I have no one. Be my number one. But you need to get rid of one of your people so that I feel like we're a real thing here, and I want you to be my guy. Like, he's telling him, also, I have other people. And it's the same amount of people that you have, but my two people are more important than your two people. So we have to get rid of one of yours. Like, that's wild.
There's more. And not only do we have to get rid of one of yours, I want one of yours to get rid of one of yours. I want Devontae
to make the decision.
To make the decision.
Insane.
I want Devontae to take out his potential number one or two ally just because I want more allies. And so I need him to go and shoot himself in the foot so that I can be in the best position with you as my ally, and with Devontae somewhere at the bottom for whenever I get ready to take him out.
Yeah, this was doing too much. And I think that if this is, what Jacob really wanted to accomplish in some way, and he wanted to get in good with Jack and, possibly by proxy Devontae in the process, while still having a good chance of being able to eliminate Brett. Like, he tried to get too cute with it by having them be a very pivotal part in the decision making that would get them there, putting way too much power into their hands. What I question is, did and I don't remember because the edit can be a little confusing at times in the order of conversations and stuff. But like, is it possible that the exact order was not Jacob's 100% choice, and that was part of the negotiation, and that perhaps Jack had some sway in ensuring that Devontae would be like the second last, like one of them would be the second last person and would have the opportunity to make sure. Because I just feel like that's definitely possible. We definitely know Jack is savvy, right?
Mhm.
So is it possible that there was a version of things where um, you know, Jacob was trying to say like, okay, we're gonna pick Amanda first. Amanda's gonna pick Derek, but Derek is gonna pick you, Jack, and then you can pick Devontae, and then like, and then I guess still that
And then
opens up
Devontae's
him to
still
saving
picking Brett.
Brett.
Yeah.
But at least then you've made sure that your two people have already gotten picked, right? If that's
Mhm.
what you're real like, that's where I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
And that's the thing. He can probably get Amanda chosen for sure. Because he told McLean, like, all right, like McLean is basically, but like she's saying, okay, I'll give you first choice because we've now agreed that Amanda will pick Jack.
Mhm.
Amanda's kind of like, all right, whatever, if this blows up, I love her in this episode. She's like, when
She's
this
so great.
blows
Yeah, we're
up,
getting more
I'm just
Amanda now.
yeah, when this blows up, fine, whatever, none of my
Not my
business.
problem.
But right, I'm getting chosen. I don't care. So,
Yeah.
so like the deal is, you pick Amanda and she will pick Jack. The moment you agree to Jack getting picked, you have now agreed to Devontae getting picked. And the moment you agree to Devontae getting picked, you have now agreed to Derek getting picked. You are giving the control over. What you should say is, yes, McLean, Amanda, I'm going to pick Amanda. I'm the pastor. I'm picking Amanda. Amanda will then pick Jack. And then you tell Amanda, do not pick Jack. Don't do that. Pick Derek. Pick Derek, pick Derek, pick Derek. Then Derek will pick whoever the hell he wants. McLean will not have any control over this. And then by the time it gets down to it, it'll be Brett and somebody else that we don't mind going in a third person. And then if Brett is somehow safe, because McLean will then put her foot down, obviously she's not going to let that happen. Then like you deal with that when the time comes. But you do not give the other side the power. McLean giving up the first spot to Jacob shows you how bad Jacob, like the thing that Jacob is about to do is so poorly, because she should not be okay with him making that first pick, being Amanda. She
Yeah.
shouldn't get up. And she
It's
does.
it's wild because and I want to get your take on this because at the end of the or near the end of the episode, it seems that um Jacob truly feels that McLean was 100% in on this, which I don't fully know is true because we did not get a confessional from McLean acknowledging that she knew that this was what the guys were going to do. We know that she is prioritizing Jack. She says that she trusts, there's a conversation where Jacob is present and she says, I trust Devontae, but wow, he's really gonna pick Derek. That's crazy. Like she's kind of even saying, like, this is kind of crazy that you think that this is what's gonna happen. But I just wonder because Jacob seems to feel like he got played by McLean here, which is interesting because she does say when they have their first conversation, when they become the two-headed snake, and Jacob says, I want one of the guys gone, probably Brett. She's like, "Oh, that's pretty tricky for me." And she says, "Well, I kind of want Derek." Um she shows that hand pretty early. And so suddenly like she's in on this plan still that is supposed to protect Derek, even though she has told Pastor Jacob that is probably her biggest target, and then she's suddenly okay with this plan because they're bringing in other people she likes into this pact. So I guess like this is my roundabout, not clear way of asking you: how involved in this plan do you personally think McLean was? Because I don't feel like the episode fully telegraphed that, and maybe we're gonna get more of an explanation of that in the next episode.
Yeah, the show doesn't give her credit for it at all. Like
Mhm.
the show really could have
This
been
was
like,
Jack and Devontae, like
yeah, it feels like Jack and Devontae went rogue. But there, to me, like you said, when she tells this man her target is Derek, and we know Derek is the one they're pulling the rug from under, then yeah, I think that she is complicit. I just don't know if she was like one of the masterminds, right? Like, I think for
yeah.
her, she's like, it would be crazy for the pastor to think this works, but best case scenario, Derek goes, right? Like, for her, like, she's like, okay, I'm putting it, because what does the pack benefit her? You know, like, she
Yeah.
leaves protection, but if she could get in with Jack, then she's in with the bros anyway. So why would she lose a bro here? Especially at the instead of Derek, who she is targeting. And so she's like, no, I want Derek out, but if you want to save him, that's fine. What? Excuse me? Yeah, so I don't think that that's how this works. I think that she might have been like, I think this is going to work out, but at the same time, like, if it doesn't, like, I'd be shocked if it does. Basically, you know, she's
Yeah.
not like, there's no way they're going through with this. I don't think we never got a confessional, like you said, to show that she was in on the plan. But
Yeah.
Pastor Jacob should definitely be looking at McLean crazy, because McLean did not come to him and be like, hey, I don't think this is a good idea. You know, like Amanda, McLean was like, hey, whatever happens, happens. I'm not in it or whatever. And so, yeah, I think there's a few people who to blame, but I think you always start with Pastor Jacob. Pastor Jacob, look inward, because
Mhm.
I think, Jenny, his biggest mistake of all was that he didn't tell Derek this
Yes.
until last.
Thank
And you know,
you.
like you said, they show things out of order all the time. But Derek tells us, apparently this man's been having conversation for hours, and then we see Pastor Jacob say, okay, for the last 5 hours, these conversations have been happening behind your back. I was like, what?
The train's down the
Pastor,
track. It's been 5 hours in the making. Oh, where the fuck was
5 hours.
Derek?
He
Where
just
was
wasn't
he?
telling him. Like, Pastor Jacob's just like, I guess Derek's
What
like,
was he
I have
doing
nothing
all
to worry about.
day?
Would you think you needed to campaign if the pastor is the head of the snake?
I don't know, maybe if the girl that you were in alliance with, that you were supposed to save last week, you were in a 3-person pact, sorry, not alliance, and you didn't choose one of the 2 people from your pact, is the other person in the 2-headed snake, who I think that McLean is definitely the kind of person that shows how she's feeling. Like, she wears her heart on her sleeve. I think that it was probably evident that she was upset about how things transpired. So I don't fully excuse Derek here if he truly was just sitting pretty thinking, "Oh, this is the two-headed snake. I'm in good." I truly hope that he was putting in work with McLean at some point, but
I
we
think so
really
too.
don't see any of Derek until hours of Jacob making all of these packs, which I love the way that he's presenting everything. He's like, I'd like to bring you into the pact. It's
To
like
the pack.
nothing makes people feel better than like being told, like, one of the last people to be like, now you can join this alliance that, like, I've already talked to people who are more important than you. You can be number 4 or 5 or 6. The way that he approaches Devonte too was so funny, just being like, yes, we want you in the pact. Um, but yeah, his own guy, the guy that he has to thank for literally still being in the game after last week, Derek. He has the audacity to come to this guy in the final hour and be like, "Don't even worry about it. I've been making moves." Yeah, those guys that we were waging war on, yeah, no, they're actually gonna save you. It's gonna be totally fine.
Um, and then if I'm Derek, I'm like, no. Like, how do you not completely not just freak out and be like,
Yeah,
absolutely not, absolutely not. I am your ally. It's me. It's you. You have to save me, or else. Like, you have to save me. Like, do not that whatever pact that is, we're going back on it. Like, I know the pastor's probably like, I would never go back on a pact, but at the same time, like, Derek, you're like, I saved you. I put myself out on the line for you, and now
yes,
you're about to put my head, like my face. Like, you got a campaign, and maybe he did. Maybe he did.
maybe
And
he
there
did.
is a contingency here, of course. Like, it's not like because this is happening, Derek will be left out to dry. but we will just, but this is not the way you're going to get Brett out, specifically. So
It's
yeah,
insane.
there are other ways that will save Derek for sure, but it's not guaranteed. And I feel like Derek, you gotta, like, maybe he looked at it and was like, well, if I push too hard, I'll scare him. I don't want to spook the pastor at all. And like I said, I will probably be saved eventually, but it is crazy that he was willing to let this happen in front of him.
And he had every reason to decide that Derek would be the first pick. Like why was Pastor Jacob not proposing that he would pick Derek first? He has to pay him back for last week. Um he will pick Derek will pick Amanda. That's something that we expect here. But we're going to have an internal conversation where us six are going to be a thing, but we don't want it to be super super obvious. It's weird to have each other picking across like teams here. Like let's have it work in a way that is still kind of hiding what's really going on here. So let's
Mm-hmm.
do the natural pick. I'm gonna pick Derek. Makes sense. Derek's gonna pick Amanda, but we're gonna have this chat with Amanda, and
Mm-hmm.
Amanda is going to pick Jack. Jack, you pick Devonte, and then once we're all in and safe, then we go from there. Um, that's why I'm trying to figure out how did they get to the point where they agreed, and by they I mean Pastor Jacob agreed to let Derek be the last person to be chosen and have that be in the hands of Devonte. Like
Yeah.
that, I just don't get it. And for Pastor Jacob to just in the final hour explain this to Derek and being like, just chill. It's going to be all good. You know who's going to pick you? Yeah, Devonte. You're in a pact with him. You haven't had an opportunity to learn or have any conversations about this, but just chill out. I took care of it for you, bro. I've been gaming all day for you, bro.
It is so
Derek's head's just
bad.
exploding. Like,
But Jenny, you're absolutely correct. Like, I don't know how McClain get, because that's the thing. I know McClain is targeting Derek, but the agreement is that Derek will get saved. So why not just save him first? If he's
yeah,
going to get saved, if everybody's being honest about our pact, then Derek is going to get saved. I think what Pastor Jacob did was he came in and he said, here's my target, Brett. And he told all of Brett allies that I want Brett out. That's the mistake. That is the original
yeah,
sin. It goes, that is where it starts. Because if he comes in and says, hey, let's create a pact and I won't come after Brett, you don't come after Derek, and then we combine our forces. And now it's the bros, the pastor, Amanda, and McClain all together. Within like Katherine at the end as like, almost like the add-on. Because then what you have here is like you said, he picks Derek picks Amanda, all the bros get picked in succession, Frankie gets picked, and then I guess Katherine will get picked, or eventually Katherine will get
yeah,
picked, but it's gonna come down to essentially the same people. It's still going to come down to the
yeah.
people who we end up basically losing in this episode, especially once we see what Katherine's about to do. And so yeah, that's the correct plan is right there. And even if you're like, okay, Derek's not in on the pact, or maybe even Brett's not in on the pact, but at least the pact has been formed. We've all established some type of trust, and we're not surviving this round to now be at war with each other so openly. Because Brett says, I know the pastor's coming for me. He won't get me this round. And when he
And that,
doesn't get me, I'm coming for him. I'm
yeah.
coming for him. I don't care
Oh,
if he is a man of God. So yeah, this is the
yeah.
type of drama we need. So, Pastor, thank you. Thank God.
Thank you for your service.
Mhm.
Don't quit your day job,
Never.
but
You're great. You seem like a great
thank you.
pastor.
Yeah, you were a wonderful pastor, great person. Um, maybe lay off the pacts for a while, my guy. No, this is so beautiful. I do want to know, is there a scenario um that they could have kind of had their cake and eat it too, in that Pastor Jacob and through him, Amanda and Derek made good or like seemed as if they were holding up some sort of promise to Jack and Devontae here, and still had oops, there was nothing I could do, try to get Brett out without having them be aware of it up front and be a part of it. Because the thing is like it would involve a lot of work with like basically everyone else, and having like a real like, because it's like they only thought about the chain to a certain point, and then they didn't have like a firm plan um beyond that. Where could they have talked to enough people and been like, please pick this person, and then because that they could get down to 3 and then they could only save 1, 2 people are going to go home. Like that's a good opportunity for there to be a whoopsie if, oh, we ended up with 3 people, and like I know Brett's your guy, but like there was another person in that 3 that like there was no way I was going to eliminate that person. So unfortunately Brett did have to go there, but that wasn't the plan. Like was there a situation that with some excellent gameplay that we did not see that they could have gotten that accomplished here? Or do you think that it was just with the way that relationships are in the game right now that like it was always just going to come down to people that were less connected?
The only way to keep Brett from being safe is to not pick one of the bros. The moment you pick one bro, all the bros get picked. So the only way that you can get Brett to the bottom of that is to make sure Jack and Devontae are one of the few people that are left out of the mix. They would have to be like the last 4 or 5 people. And so the key here would be, yeah, it would be hard to do that, because the key here would be to like make sure like maybe like someone like Katherine, right? If you can get to Katherine and say Katherine, because Katherine's supposed to pick the bros. If Katherine picks Brian, and then Brian picks Frank picks Alyssa, then it's like the bros are left. But the bros are too connected. They have Katherine. She's not going to pick Brian, which is, concerning. And I think maybe they thought that she would always pick Brian, which is where this does kind of go awry as far as the chain goes. But yeah, I think everybody else is pretty locked in. Alyssa's always picking Frank. We haven't talked about our Cowboy and Christine much, but they are definitely just like tied together as well. So you expect for either of them to choose the other one. And so maybe you tell Christine, like, if we can get Cody and to vote for you, Christine, could you not vote for the bros? Could you leave Jack out the draw? But remember, we got to remember, McLean is also a part of this two-headed snake, and she's not letting Jack not get picked. She's just not.
And so what I was going to say is that, what about, because I definitely don't think you can make a goodwill deal with these guys that will hopefully help you in a future round if one of them is the snake next time. But like, is there some sort of agreement? Because again, he's the one with power. Like Pastor Jacob is the one with power here right now. And so you should still try to leverage that a little bit, in that like, hey, I'm gonna get you saved like very early on here, and I want to work with you. However, and you can pick one person to save. Like if you really want it to be Devontae, that'll be great. But um, I need this person to be next, and it's not about like, okay, like leaving it up to them, but don't let them know like you cannot pick Brett because I am targeting him. It's that like, hey, can you pick Frank, because I really think that he's someone that like, if he feels like he's in good with us, he's going to be a number for us. But like, this is the true 6 here. But I really, really want him to get picked next. He's going to pick Alyssa, and then Alyssa promised me that she's going to pick Brett or whatever. Like, lie through your teeth. Again, we're asking Pastor Jacob to do gameplay that I just don't think that he's prepared to do at this point. But I do like, I just wonder, was there a move where you could still do the, okay, yes, Jack and Devontae, you're in with me, we're gonna get you saved super early on, but make them agree to pick someone else besides Brett for the next person, but like give some bullshit reason and where Brett was going to fall in the lineup. Again, I'm saying it out loud and I'm realizing they're never going to believe this.
No. They and like even if they did believe it, it still doesn't make sense, right? Like they could like
Yeah.
it's like turn your back on your number one ally. I promise I got them. That's
Yeah.
essentially what they told Jacob, and see what
I
happened
mean,
to him.
he said that, but like I'm trying to say, like, is there a way to get them to do that without realizing that that's what
No,
they're doing?
no. The
Yeah.
moment you tell Devontae, like that's why it was such an asinine move in
Plan. Yeah.
everybody's eyes, was because it's like you're going to Jack and being like, "Don't save Devontae," and he's like, "Well, I'm going to save Devontae." He's like, "Okay, well, go to Devontae." Be like, "Well, don't save Brett." And he's like, "No, I am going to save Brett." It's like,
Yeah.
okay, but what if you saved Cody and Cody saved Brett? No. It's like, well,
Yeah.
what if you saved Alyssa and Alyssa saved Frank and then Frank saved Brett? No. It's like,
Yeah.
why? Because I can't afford to lose him. Because he's always going to pick me. There's a moment where we see Brett and Devontae talking, and he's like, "Yeah, I was never going to betray you." He's like, "Yeah, because I would not betray you either. Like that would be so silly of me to leave you out to dry, to leave this in somebody else's hands."
Yeah.
If there was a world where they could have snowed them and maybe brought, I think the answer is Cody. I really do. I think if they had convinced, because Derek said he was good with Cody. And so maybe if
Cody's
Derek
always
is
the
like,
answer.
yeah, maybe Derek and Cody's have worked together famously for a number of years,
Exactly.
and so I think that if he's like bring in Cody, Cody's gonna pick Christine, Christine's gonna pick Brett. But Christine and Cody have been up each other's ass for so long that I don't even think they've been able, and we haven't really talked about this, but they have just been like creating a big ass like target on themselves. And so I think that
Noodling.
if you have like, if she had done some work, Christine had done some work with Brett, and maybe it looked like her and Brett were getting close, then it was like, hey, me and Brett have a secret thing. Christine and Brett have a secret thing, and we want to keep that secret. Okay. So we're going to let Christine pick Brett. That's going to establish like a thing. No one's ever going to see it coming, that Christine is going to pick Brett. Maybe that's the thing. And then they use Christine to not pick Brett, and then they leave Brett out to dry.
But that would involve Christine and Cody seemingly doing anything related to the game.
Except for planning what they're going to do after one of them is eliminated. Because there's like twice
where they were going to visit each other.
Are you gonna come see me? Oh my god! Like, are you gonna come? He's like, she's the most amazing person in the world. Yeah, I'll come all the way to New Jersey. She's the most amazing person in the world. Like, I was like, yes,
and you agree. You agree.
She seems great. I don't blame him. I don't blame him at all. They seem like they are very cute together or whatever. But I think them not being involved in this round really does stifle it. And then, of course, like I said, original sin. Don't tell the people you're targeting that you're targeting them.
The more we talk this through, which God, I love like two of the most unhinged podcasters on this network, just getting so intensely like wrapped up in the strategy of the show. But
I thought about it, but it's because when the real strategists get like games to talk about, they jump to the right answer immediately. And they're like,
and we have to talk it.
Yeah. They're like, obviously, this is what you do. Whereas me and you are like, wait a minute.
Like, let me talk it through in the most like long-winded way.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Taryn and Shannon
the
have
ADHD
already,
strategists podcast.
Yeah. Taryn and Shannon have already outlined all the like the different ways that this could work or not work.
There's a PowerPoint prepared. It's their brain created the thoughts immediately.
Whereas we don't think about it until we hear the other one say it. And we're like,
and you know what? I like it this way. I love the journey. Okay. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. And we journey through it together in our own way. But through that journey, as we've talked about this, Chappell, I really feel like ultimately, Pastor Jacob squandered this opportunity, and that it's like one of those HOH reigns where it's like, you don't use this HOH reign to try to target your biggest target. You try to make relationships that are going to protect you for the next round, and you let someone go that is inconsequential. Like that is kind of what ended up happening, but because of what he tried to accomplish and the mess that he made, he ruined any goodwill that he was trying to create for himself through this week. Like, what he truly should have done was, if he left last week being like, holy shit, I was almost eliminated, Derek saved my ass, there's a weird thing going on with Jack, he's got people, I need to start making some connections with other people so that I'm not put in this position where I am relying solely on Derek and Amanda to save me. When we literally saw Derek say, I might not be able to save you, bro, and he somehow still did. Like, that is what he should have spent this time doing, and being like, hey, I also have to work with somebody here. We might not have mutual interests here on who we get rid of. So we find a happy medium, because maybe we're both not going to be able to get rid of our biggest target. We talk to people, we make some conversations where we get some people that we weren't super good with before, make sure that they're really high in the chain, and then we can like make this new pact where,
Mm.
you know, it's a thing for next week, and I want to show you that you're someone that I can work with. I want to work with competitors. Do the usual shit that people say, like, I want to win with the best people. Like, you showed me when you were eating those century eggs last week, bro. That was so cool, dude. You know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
do that stuff, and talk to other people and figure out the weak links. Figure
Yeah.
out what's going to make the most people happy or upset the least people, and rebuild your standing in the house with people, and not piss anyone off, because you pissed people off last week without even really doing much. You need to spend this week just laying low and doing like the boring house vote. And trust me, as a viewer and a podcaster about this show, I'm so happy that that's not what they did, because that would be so boring. Like, I'm so
Mm.
glad that they made a mess of it. But yes, strategically, that is what Pastor Jacob needed to do with his power this week. And he said, no, 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 I'm going to make new packs, but I'm also going to try and get them to be responsible for eliminating one of their own. I need to get my target out when I literally had no one riding for me last week. Man.
Yeah. Uh, I just think that packs are best formed out of trust, and you don't know who you can trust until you see how they vote and
Right.
who they
Show
pick.
me.
So
Don't
just
tell me.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. And so what these people have shown you is that you're not a priority for them, and that they are a priority for each other. So why would you trust that they would do something different? You know.
Yeah.
So incredible gameplay, for sure. Can we talk?
Stunning.
Yeah. Can we talk about the snake?
The
The order.
the literal the saving the yes, sure. The saving
Yes.
ceremony, the snake.
Yeah. Okay. So at the top of the snake, we have,
Two heads.
Pastor and
Two
Matt,
heads, one
double
snake.
head. Yeah, two heads, one snake. And it's like the thing is telegraphed from like a mile away. Like everyone's saying, like, okay, this is not gonna work out for them.
Yeah.
And I'm
It,
so at
it was
that
very obvious.
right. So at that point, I'm kind of thinking, oh, then who is going home, right? Because we know that
Yeah.
it's not going to be Brett. Is it going to be Derek? So we get Amanda is chosen, who I love, and she's like, I ain't worried about what
Mhm.
happens after me because I'm getting picked relatively
Like,
early.
what a queen. Like, she's
Yeah.
just, you know, no, I have not heard her say a single thing about whether she gives a shit about Derek or Jacob
No.
in a couple episodes. We know that she's in with them and that they're protecting her, but she's kind of just like chilling and then just like getting saved. Like,
Yeah.
for her to get picked here first here, iconic. Love this for
Yeah.
her.
And I have a feeling that she had a contingency that Derek was going to be saved because she should not be okay with Derek going either here,
Yeah.
because we've seen that they're aligned. And so she's like, whatever happens after me, I don't care. Let's see some fireworks. So she does what she's told to do, and she picks Jack. And
I
Jack
love
is
Jack.
like,
I'm
oh,
sorry.
you idiot.
It's so predictable of me, but like I love the schemy little strategist boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He picks
Love that. I love
Devontae.
Devontae.
Yeah, I
Devontae's
look,
giving villain. I'm
we're
like,
not
so it's
we're not rooting
Ah,
against the bros. We're not. We're just
we're
not.
not. Sorry, we're
We're not.
not.
Sorry, we're not.
Sorry, we're
Because at
not.
least they're playing the game well. Like at least they're trying. Like it would have been crazy for Devontae to do what was asked of him here. It would have been
Yes.
crazy. And I love that he didn't even like waver, right? Like I much more prefer the bros who are like, we're broing down. We're never going to like get tricked by this. That's dumb. As opposed to like the bros who are like just mindless idiots walking around waiting to get picked off. So no, I was very happy with the
He's
way
like, let's
things were
go, let's
going
play.
because
Yeah.
they want to play the game. They
Yeah.
want to be aggressive, and so of course our big twist here, Devontae does exactly what should happen. He says things change every day and potentially every minute, and something has changed, and it's just his mind. Devontae chooses Brett, and
Now I
that's
have
when
a
Pastor Jacob.
question here.
Ooh,
Oh,
what's
sorry.
up?
Finish that thought.
Oh, I'm like, that's when Pastor Jacob's like, well, I guess that's just the game. I guess that's just a snake. You
He's
know,
like,
Pastor.
"Aw, shucks."
Yeah, I was
So
like, oh, damn.
you you've brought this photo up of Brett again on our screen here,
Mm-hmm.
for those who are not following on YouTube. And I'm reminded that he has this chain on, and he's got the cross on it. Why do you think that Pastor Jacob is looking at this and saying, like, "You're wearing the cross, but you're not
Oh,
about the cross?"
you're not living that life. You're not
Yeah.
living that
Because
life.
they're ops, and I'm just looking at something, I'm like, maybe this is something that they could have had in common.
Right. It's like you
Is
wear a
it just for the
collar, I wear a
fashion?
chain. I think it's for the fashion. But like
It's just
even
for
if
the
it's not,
fashion.
like Pastor Jacob, be for real. Like, there's no reason why you should like you should have thought this was gonna work.
Don't
This is
ask
crazy.
his friends to eliminate him, please.
Yeah. So Brett will go and pick the person who is probably in the best spot when it comes to this whole war, Katherine, who has
The
latched on
queen
to the
named
bro.
Katherine.
Queen Catherine's still here. She's still calling people dumb. She's still like pulling out her phone. What was the
She's
Catherine rule this time? Like pretend to like somebody when they get pretend to care when we lose somebody to
we got
elimination.
s Yeah, and honestly, what a robbery, for us to really bury, Katherine here in this recap, because she still did give us some gold, and we'll get to her choice here in a second. But there was another moment that I loved where she was talking about one of her other rules where she's like, you know, she is just hiding behind these big, strong bodies. And then she says,
Mhm.
and I can't wait for them to get shot in the chest before me. Like, she's literally talking about the imagery of using them as human shields and them being like shot in front of her. Like, this woman is a savage. We don't get villains like this these days. And I just feel like this is who we think about when we say, why aren't people talking about the show? And I'm going to give a shout out to Kelly Wentworth, because did you see Kelly Wentworth
Uh-uh.
did a reel about the snake?
No.
Okay, she said, you've been asking for old school reality TV villains, and she
Mhm.
did like a little reel on Instagram about the snake, and about and focus on Katherine specifically. So we're in good company in that there are some people that are paying attention. Um,
Mhm.
if Kelly Wentworth can see the magic here, like, come on, people.
Yeah, Brendan Donlin texted me and was like, I don't know how to feel about the show The Snake, but Katherine, they don't deserve her. I was like, you're right.
Yeah,
We could be using Katherine in so many like
and
more
hopefully
cutthroat
we
ways,
will.
and hopefully
Hopefully we will.
we will.
Hopefully this is
Hopefully
just
we
the
will.
beginning. But anyway, yeah, some more gold from Katherine here. And then like all this stuff early in the episode where she's just buttering up Brian, talking
Oh,
about
please let's save that because I definitely want to get into that because that was crazy.
it's
But let's save
insane.
that for when we get to Brian. Um,
Well,
Katherine,
you'd think we would be getting to
we
Brian right
we're
now.
supposed
Katherine
to
just
get
got
to Brian.
picked.
Yeah. And Katherine is like, nah, I'm picking Jordan. I could save Brian, but like I'm playing a long game. I can't just be saving the same person all the time. That's like,
And
she's not wrong.
and no, she made points, and we get the splice confessional of like Brian being like, Katherine is the person that I trust the most. And like, obviously, like, she's the person she's going to pick me every time. And like, that feels so good to have that like comfort, spliced with her not picking him. But everything Katherine said is true, where she's like, I need people to be working with people that also have people, and I can't be saving Brian every week if he isn't going to save himself. Basically being like, you can't just be sitting back, doing nothing and then just enjoying the fruits of my labor here where I'm making all of these connections with people. And it's savage, but she's got a point.
She does. Now, I don't really know if I agree with her decision to kind of let Brian go, but let's talk
No.
about it when we get there. So she picks
Well, she maybe
Jordan.
doesn't
Jordan
think that
picks
he's going, right? Like,
I
is that maybe it? I don't
no,
know.
no, I think she knows I think she's cooked. I think he knows that she's cooked. I think it's a wrap.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jordan picks Alyssa, and Alyssa picks her best friend, of course, Frankie.
Love
This
Frankie.
duo is like, they're just like,
Oh
they're
my
in it.
gosh.
Everybody knows it,
I
So
love
we're
them.
down to the final three. Oh no, I
We're
forgot
down to
Christine.
4. This is where
The
it got
final four.
confusing, Chappell, because
Mhm.
they say, okay, so this is the final save.
No, it's the final
Like,
three. It's the
but
final
but
three, right?
but there's one more save that is out of the hands of McLean and Jacob before they get to make their two selections,
Yes.
leaving the two that get eliminated.
Right, exactly. So the final save, the last person who will be saved in the chain is Christine.
Yeah.
She is the final one who will be saved. Meaning I think that this is no, I think Frank was the last one who was saved. That's what it was.
Well,
Frank was the final
Frank
save.
Frank is the last who's picked by a non-snake, and then
Yes,
there's
by the chain.
that leaves them with 4 people
Three.
who, well, no, because it's
Oh,
Christine.
you're right.
Derek
Yes.
hasn't been picked yet.
I keep
And
forgetting
then,
Derek. Yeah.
yeah. And so this is where it got confusing, where they would get down to 4, and it seems
Mhm.
like McLean gets a pick, and then Jacob gets a pick, and then the last 2 vulnerable, like, are the
They
ones
will go home.
that go.
Yeah.
It was kind of confusing to watch. So Frankie's the last person picked in the regular chain, and then for whatever reason, I have no idea how this was decided. Jim Jeffries tells us, okay, we're down to 4 here. McLean, you get to go first. And this was one of the big surprises of the episode here, where and this could also lead into perhaps why Pastor Jacob felt like McLean was definitely in on this, because what a weird random pick for McLean to save Christine here, of all
Mhm.
people. Like,
Yeah.
I know that you get it, but like, try to be McLean for a second. What's happening here? Is it truly just a girl power thing where she was like, we've lost a couple of women and I don't want another woman to go? Because she said, like, that's kind of what she said in her speech. But strategically, what was this? What was happening here?
Okay, well, if I wanted to give McLean a lot of credit, I will say that separating Cody and Christine has to happen, or you just get rid of both of them. If you can. But like, you gotta save somebody. It's either going to be Cody or Christine. It's never going to be, or Brian. It'll never be Derek. Not for McLean. She has no incentive to save Derek. She knows
He didn't save her.
and she knows Jacob is about to, right? So there's no point in
Exactly.
her doing it anyway. So it's like, okay, who do
But
I
she,
get rid of?
sorry, I'm just,
Yeah.
but why not
So it's like,
Cody?
well, that's the thing. Like with Cody, like if I'm giving her credit for the strategy of this, I would say if it's like I get rid of Cody here because Cody is somewhat loyal to Derek. It's
Okay.
like
That's the
I'm not
only way
getting
of
Derek out.
weakening him.
Yeah, I'm not getting Derek out, so
Okay.
I might as well take out Cody. Or also,
If
I'm
that's what
saying,
she was doing, then I approve. But I just,
I,
again,
yeah, it's
what?
hard to
Yeah.
know. We haven't really seen
Yeah.
her, outside of that, really talk about Christine. But I also would say that, Christine is probably somebody else that you could thrust at the bottom of this chain before you. who is saving Christine? Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody is saving Christine except for Cody. So it's kind of like there are multiple people who could save Cody. There's one person who would save Christine. And now you are the sole
Her
person who has
favorite
saved her.
person.
You're her
Yeah.
favorite person in the house. You saved her life in the game. And she could be loyal to you. Like she said, the women have been going. And so maybe she just doesn't want another woman to go. So I think there's a lot of merit to this pick of saving Christine. I don't think Cody did
Yeah.
himself any favors at
No.
all.
He
And
disappeared.
he disappeared. He got kind of wrapped up in everything. So no, I thought this pick made sense.
Here's the thing. It makes sense if you explain it out that way, and it's just hard for me to like attribute that choice to McLean without hearing that that's how, because we did get stuff from her in this episode and then it just kind of tapered off and we didn't get a lot of like her like I still don't know how much she was in on like the Jack and Devontae side of like the plan here. I would have loved to hear a little bit more about her feelings about Cody and Christine because I have never seen her interact with Christine. And so even just like an indication of like, you know, Christine is someone who really doesn't have anyone that's a relationship I might like want to put something into. Like, and again, we might get this in the next episode. And if it gets explained after the fact, then I love this. I just thought it was like that was a random choice given what we were seeing here. And yeah, I just didn't really know what happened with Cody because the alliance was supposed to be Cody, Derek, and McLean last week. Obviously, McLean felt burned because Derek didn't pick her, but like Cody didn't really do anything to her. So I just thought that it was like weird that he seemed to evaporate from her plan, and but everything you said, every explanation, you're absolutely right. Like, you know, if you know that you have no way of actually getting rid of Derek here, and you don't trust him, like getting rid of another number for him is great for you. I just
And she
like,
can't count on Cody. Cody was supposed to save her
yeah.
last time and didn't save her. So I was like,
Well,
why do I keep you around if you're not gonna save me?
but Cody, did she think that Cody was going to save her, or was it just going to be Cody, Derek, McLean? Like, it seems she felt really burned by Derek, right? So
Right. But like if I'm in a 3-person alliance and I'm the one that got left out, I don't care if either one of you go. And I think that's where she was. Like
I care about the second person because they chose someone that wasn't me. Like the first person still chose one of the alliance, right? Like I'm more mad at the second person,
but
but
she felt like
fair.
everybody lied to her, remember?
Yes,
So
she
she felt
said
like
that.
he was in on it as well. Like he
Yeah.
knew. And I don't think he probably I'd have to venture that Cody didn't do a lot of like damage control for that. Be like, no,
Cody
I
didn't trust the
really
pastor.
right. Like
You wouldn't have
look,
approved that.
yeah, like if he had he gone to her afterwards and been like, no, Derek lied to me. You know what I'm saying? Like he was supposed to choose you and he didn't. That's a whole different conversation.
He was too
And I
busy in Christine's mouth. This woman killed his game because Cody was showing us stuff before this. Like he was talking about how he didn't really trust Pastor Jacob. He seemed to be into the game, and Christine walks in that red dress and just like all goes to hell.
good for her. Good for her.
Good for her.
Good for her. And also, he was looking for somebody to kill his game. We saw in episode 1, he was like, I need a brunette, and then by episode 2, he's like, thank God a brunette, and so yeah, he was looking for somebody to derail his game. She did it and she survived. Now I'm hoping she can do something with that because we spent a lot of time talking about Cody and he became a non-factor so fast.
I know.
But we have not talked about the person who probably is the most shocked by this elimination, our ex-con.
My jewel thief king.
Brian.
Ex-con down. Ex-con down.
Ex-con down. Brian is shocked. He cannot believe it. Katherine was supposed to be his ride or die. She had gone out of her way and saved him twice. He had no reason to believe that she would betray him. This time, she even told him, if my dad were to die, I would want you to walk me down the aisle. Now, ma'am, this had to have been a joke.
Crazy shit.
This was a joke. It was a joke. There's no way she meant this in a sincere way. There's just no way. It's been like 3 days, Jenny. There's
no.
There's just no way.
This is Katherine being Katherine, man. Like, this is
Wait,
pure villain shit. She's
that's
got
the
a note
craziest thing
in
I've ever
her
heard.
phone about this.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard. It's
It's
like,
wild. It's wild. She also, they were talking, yeah, like, I can't wait to meet your fiance. Okay, that's a like, and then she's like, oh yeah, I can't wait for you to meet my cat. Can't wait to introduce you to my cat.
hmm
Just normal bonding. Like,
normal bonding.
no, you'll
Um,
walk me down the aisle. You'll meet my cat.
yeah. I don't think Katherine should have let Brian go. I think that she had someone who was
No.
very loyal to her. I think he was stifling her in a way because she kind of keep picking the same person because he's not going out and getting anybody else to pick him. Like it shows you where his game was. The fact that like the one time she doesn't choose him, he doesn't get chosen. Like so, she was like his
Yeah.
only lifeline. So he really wasn't that beneficial to her. But like,
But did
had
Katherine
she
think that Cody and Christine were just getting eliminated here? Because it really just seemed like these two isolated themselves. And when you're looking at like, the lay of the land here, does Katherine like? I don't know how much of this was her being like, "Don't care, goodbye." She might have just been like, "I'm going to, uh, you know, kind of strengthen one of my other bonds. I shouldn't have to always pick Brian. I can make some assumptions. He's got some other good relationships. I know he's friendly with Frankie. Like, there are other people here that are going to pick him. He's not vulnerable. No, she might have really just thought that it was a clear shot that it was going to be Cody and Christine going out together.
but she shouldn't leave that up to chance. You know what I'm saying?
I
Like you should
agree.
not leave the power in someone else's hands. There's only 4 people left, like who are essentially
Yeah.
getting picked, right? So it's like Katherine picks Jordan, Jordan picks Alyssa. Alyssa is always going to pick Frank. Everybody knows it. So at that
Yeah.
point, Frank doesn't even get to choose anymore. That's it. So now it's like, do you think Jack is going to save? Do you think Pastor is going to save Cody? Do you think he's going to save Brian? Do you think he's going to save Christine? Do you think he's going to save, Derek? And it's
Do
like,
you
well, we
think
know
that
he's going to save Derek.
okay, but again, I'm just trying to like go back to what they might have been thinking because we're watching this. This is the first time that they've done this. I didn't really understand why we got to a point where both heads of the snake each pick a person, then that's how it's decided who goes, because that's not how the snake chain started. So like I could also see Katherine being like, I'm gonna pick Jordan. Jordan's gonna pick Alyssa. Alyssa's probably gonna pick Frankie. Frankie's gonna pick Brian, and then it's gonna be down to Derek, Christine, and Cody, and they're the snake are gonna have to decide together because it's supposed to be about them deciding together to save Derek, and then Christine and Cody are gonna go. Like, I think that it's completely reasonable, unless it was explained to them that that was how it's gonna work ahead of time, for Katherine to think, okay, Brian might be getting left super late, but Frank's gonna pick him. He's gonna be fine.
Yeah, no, I disagree. I just don't think there's nothing there. Like I think
But
that like, even if
why would you think that that was why it was gonna play out?
because
Like, I
why would
just
she not just pick him? You know, like that. Why
because
is it
she
so
wants
cute?
to work Jordan too. She needs to like, kind of she's got to keep watering that seed as well, right?
Yeah, I
I
just
think
think
that
that
she
like
might have been like, "Oopsie, didn't really expect that to happen."
yeah, I mean, look, it could happen. It definitely could happen. But to leave Frank to be essentially the last person chosen is crazy to me. Like maybe she has like she's hoping that he's done some work or something. But if she's put any type of effort into this, then like she should know that he doesn't have a lot of bonds. Like
Yeah.
it's just her and him. She has saved him twice already. Like she's like nobody else has gone out on a limb and saved him. It's only been her. So I don't know if she has any reason to believe what anybody else would save him. Like, of course
I
they
just
could
think
save him.
but I really do think that if it didn't become okay, now after Franks gets picked by Alyssa, now the power is back to McLean and Jacob both get to make two choices instead of like, I really do think based on who was left, that I don't know. I guess Frank also has a relationship with Cody, but there's a good reason to think that Frank picks Brian there. So
Oh no,
I just
I'm the opposite.
you
I
think
think
for
Frank
sure
always
he
picks Derek.
Derek?
Yeah, when they were talking about the chain initially, the goal was for Derek to then choose Frankie, who would then choose Alyssa, who would then pick Jordan. They outlined that. And
Yeah,
so
but
if
that was
I
coming
think
from people that had no idea what was going on.
right, but they at least knew that Derek and Frankie were like simpatico, right? Like that was a thing that could happen. So like I feel like if he knew Derek was willing to choose him in this imaginary chain that doesn't exist, then like he would be willing to choose him, you know, and vice versa. I really don't think that there's anybody who's
I
sticking their
don't
neck out to
know.
save Brian. We just never saw him talking to anybody else about anything of substance.
Yeah, I mean, some people that are gone. I don't
Like
know.
like he was
I'm like
like, guess what I stole today? Like that was the kind of conversations he was having with
he was
people.
soliciting people for new crime on
Yeah.
Fox TV.
Yeah,
That
but
was
I don't
a
think
thing
there's
that
a
happened.
non. I don't think there's a non-zero chance though. What you're saying, like, there's
Yeah.
definitely a world where Frankie does pick Brian, but I don't think there's like an overwhelming, you know, like I really think that
He
it's
could have
almost a
picked
coin
Cody,
toss.
I think. I don't think that
I,
I can't see him picking Derek. I think that it was probably either gonna be Brian um or Cody there because they had both picked him at points. So I do think he had
yeah,
relationships with both of them. But that's yeah, I don't know. I'd love to listeners, please let us know what you think would have
yeah,
happened here. And do you think that Katherine was aware that Brian was gonna go here? Because
yeah,
I'm going back and forth on it. I think that she probably could have been okay with if it didn't work out, but I don't necessarily think that she was like big braining being like I'm not going to pick Brian and he's going to go home. Oops. Like, I think that
yeah,
there was definitely a situation where she would think that there was still one more pick and that he was going to potentially be okay.
yeah. And
But
we'll have to write that down for our exit interview when she wins the game.
yes, of course. And I'm going to have to ask everyone involved at some point because I do want to know,
Yeah.
like whenever we talk to Frank, like who he was going to pick in that scenario. Cause I like, the way it played, it was confusing. It was not super clear to me why suddenly they're having to make this decision together as a snake, and they have to agree. And then all of a sudden, we get down to four, and you both get to individually pick people. Like that was just kind of a weird way. It should have still
Mhm.
been one more in the chain, and then the snakes have to deliberate together to pick the one person. I think that that is more dramatic too.
Yeah, but like, what if they can't decide?
Then there's consequences. I don't know.
Yeah, but
Then
that's
it's
what I'm
like
saying.
we
Like, I
draw
think
rocks or something. I
yeah,
don't know. Like
yeah,
there
I
could
think
have
the show's
been.
not willing to go out that far on a limb.
Yeah.
You know, like
But then
that's like
like
a
why
season
the
3 problem.
arbitrary like you each get to pick someone and McLean goes first for some reason. Like I don't know. It's just like that part was a little bit like we
Maybe,
did we think this through? I don't know.
maybe that was the compromise.
Yeah.
Derek, I mean, Pastor Jacob got the first pick. So McLean gets the first save of the at the end, right? Maybe that's what the compromise was. Because he did go
Maybe.
first. She did give up her opportunity to go first so that he could pick Amanda. So at the
Yeah.
end, it does
But they
make
were
sense
supposed
for
to
her
agree
to.
on that anyway. So I don't know. Yeah. I
I
don't
don't know.
know.
I think maybe that's what
Strange.
that maybe that's by like the design of the game. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
if you get to go first with your first pick, I will get the first save. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, we'll have to see what if we get another round of the double-headed snake, and maybe they'll explain
Or we
it
just ask
more.
Brian in our exit interview, like, did you
That's
know
true.
that? Yeah,
Did
did
you
you
know
think
that
that?
that was how it was gonna play out? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm very much looking forward to talking to them both because, you know, despite what I've said about I think this being best for the game for entertainment purposes to keep all of these people in that were kind of creating these sides that are going to be going to war. We do lose two people that I thought were really fun characters on the show.
Mhm.
So I am still sad to see Cody and Brian leave here, and I'm very interested to hear from them when we have our exit interview with them.
Yeah. It will be a joint exit interview as well, so we'll get our time to talk to both of them at the same exact time and ask them some questions. So, yeah,
Do you
let us
think we
know.
should make a plan for a crime together?
Like with Brian,
All four of us.
I don't know if we can count on. Cody. No disrespect. He seems like a man of integrity, and you and I are not. And so,
He'll get
but
distracted by a pretty woman, and then the whole jig is off. So
yeah. I hope we get to talk to some of these people after the season. It'd be fun to talk to Jordan because she's kind of in the middle, and we don't really get a lot of information from her.
yeah,
But yeah, we get
quiet
our
from
little
Jordan so far. Yeah.
yeah. But she seems safe, so let's see what happens. Jenny, this was fun.
This is very fun. I can't wait to see what happens next. What a mess. Lots of cards have been shown at this point, and I hope it's giving like Split House in Big Brother in a way.
Yeah.
But it's like level 6 versus Faute a little bit. You know what I mean?
A little bit, yeah. It's gonna come down who wins this challenge, and then even then, if Pastor Jacob wins the challenge, there's no guarantee that he doesn't mess this up. So
Yeah, and I
again,
can't wait to watch it.
I want him to Pastor Jacob, if you're listening to this, I know you are. You're sitting at church right now, you got your headphones in.
He's listening
You
to us
got
at church.
yeah, absolutely. That's where he
Okay.
lives. And so at his house, aka church. And he's listening to this and he's like, oh, they're being mean to me. Like, no, we're rooting for you.
Yeah,
You just
we
gotta
just
do
want you to
better.
do well. Yeah.
Yeah, we just want you to do your best, Pastor. Little
Yeah,
baby
we're having
pastor.
our Tyra Banks, we were rooting for you moment.
We were all rooting for you.
We were
Mhm,
all
mhm.
rooting for you. And take in the words of Chappell, take the collar off.
Take that collar off.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see what happens next. Like I said, let us know in the comments how you're feeling about it all. Let us know on social media how you're feeling about the season, what you think about this crazy episode and how things turned out. And we'll be back soon with our exit interview with Cody and with Brian. But in the meantime, Chappell, what else do you have going on?
On my podcast, Recap Kickback, every week, Chantel and I are going live to talk about the flavor of love. And we just had an iconic episode involving Beyonce. If you were there, you know. If you don't know, get familiar. So we'll be doing that every week. We'll try to tweet out the link early so that people can catch it live. But we try to aim. We had to do it at a special time this week, but we try to aim for the end of the week, preferably for this kind of stuff. Also on Nothing But Netflix, nothingbutpod.com, you can see me and Asia talking this week about the premiere of Scandal. Scandal is back on Netflix, and so Asia and I are going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the first episode, and then we're going to talk about our overall thoughts about Scandal at the end, in like a spoilery section. So check that out on nothingbutpod.com. And then what else? Is there just something else? Oh, I think no, that's for the most part, that's it, I think. I know there's something. Oh, yes, I'm doing the cast assessment. I just did the cast assessment for the Traders last week. And so that should be up by the time you hear this. God knows when we recorded this, but yeah, there's the things that are happening that have been recorded already that are out there. Yeah. And so just look, recapkickback.com, youtube.com/@recapkickback, and then @recapkickback on all social media platforms. That'll tell you everything you need to know.
Amazing. Yeah, Chappell, I forgot to mention this last week, but you and I hopped on the Free Agents pod with Matt Ligori and Brian Scally to do a little draft of the House of Villains season 3 cast that dropped recently. We did one for season 2, so we had to get the band back together. So check that out. Check out the Free Agents podcast with our friends Matt and Scally. That was a fun time. And Chappell, I feel like our team's gonna win again.
I think so too. Yeah,
I think so.
yeah.
But you gotta listen and see what you think about the team that Chappell and I drafted. And yeah, let us know how you're feeling about the snake. And thanks for giving us love. Like the YouTube video. That's what we do, right? We thumbs up the YouTube video.
Yeah.
We know realitytv.com to make sure you're
Yeah.
subscribed for more recaps and exit interviews. And we'll be back next week for episode 4 recap. See the mess after this. And yeah, stay tuned for the exit interview coming up soon. And that's it. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
This is RHAP. We know reality TV.